Okay, well, I've got my fire shirt on today. Why do I have that on?
Because of the BBC camp.
Yeah, Business Builder Camp, right? And so I didn't have it on during the interview though.
That was funny because in the interview, the four other guys were all wearing jeans and the business builder jacket or hoodie, and he was just wearing a vest.
Right. Yeah, which it was getting hot that day, so I had to anyway. So, but I have it on now, and so it was a good interview with four friends that I had, and we had nine, I think 8 of us total, or 9 of us. Anyway, we had several of us business owners here in Beaufort with me in my town, and the actual camp, if you will, was in Savannah, but we were here in town going over each one of our businesses, and 4 of them joined me in a brief podcast episode, and we got a glimpse into 4 different businesses. So we had Kane, Wayne, Buddy, Mark, and Andy, and we got a little bit into each one of their businesses. So was there anything interesting that you want to highlight?
I liked it. I thought it was noteworthy when Buddy talked about he's a practitioner.
Yeah,
Is that what
medical. He's in the
medical
medical
practitioner,
field.
and everybody else that was on the podcast had some sort of background in engineering or in the AEC industry somehow. And he was just at the camp, and I thought it was interesting how he said that even though they're from different businesses and different backgrounds, that they can still learn from each other. And I just thought that was very applicable.
Yeah, for sure. And Buddy and I, we've had a journey together in our businesses, and I addressed that during the podcast. And also, Buddy's portion, I think that was one of the highlights, which was a bit surprising for me because he's a medical field, and this is not a medical podcast, of course, but he gave some really good tips and things to be thinking about as you're, like ergonomics. That's a tough one to say. Ergonomics. So making sure that we're taking care of our bodies and things as people in the AEC field, professionals, maybe architects, engineers that sit at a desk, or even project managers at construction companies, and you sit at a desk all day. People that are out in the field, and are you taking care of your bodies? So that was a really interesting part, and I said, hey, we may even have to have another episode for the medical side. So that was interesting, and just really diving in on a business side. Maybe there's business owners that are in the AEC industry, or I think there's other aspects that you're going to learn, like even with Mark and just the confidence, and he talked about that aspect of things, and just being on the podcast, which I felt like he did a great job, and he's a natural, in my opinion.
Very much.
So, and I say in there, please give him a like, give him a clap, because we want to encourage those that come on the podcast. And I know for me, it's about being on the edge, right? And we talked about that this week, right? Like that was one of the takeaways of Business Builder Camp. I didn't really get into that during the podcast, but just being on the podcast as a whole for me is an edge. It's a push for me, right? And so it's been something fun for me to do, but also, I'm learning. Like we were just talking about some things that I could do to improve, and we always trying to improve the podcast. We're working on our background, and we're working on our.
We're gonna get some new chairs.
Yeah, we're gonna get some new chairs. So we're working on all different things, the format of it. So if you have ideas, shoot us some ideas, but. That's my edge. What's your edge in 2025? Think about that. And what do you want to add to our preview today?
I think that's very much it. I had something I wanted to say, but I can't remember. So.
Was it something about the edge or?
Yeah, it was something about you, but
okay.
We'll just skip to the episode and y'all enjoy.
Well, were you gonna? Okay, so because it was pretty funny, like, so just having. Because we were in Beaufort, we had these friends that, I go there to Pennsylvania, I go there to the Northeast and see some of these guys. They come here. This was the first time they came to our town in Beaufort, but they actually came to our house too. Yes. And so you got to meet some of these guys. What did you think about some of these business owners?
I walked out and I saw all of y'all, and I thought that it was just like the same person 7 times. They all looked the same, similar, and they were all wearing similar clothes. And I was,
Yeah. Well, I guess we're all cut from similar molds, right?
Yeah, that
Is
entrepreneur.
maybe the entrepreneur side, or because we're
Guys
not
in their
from
40s.
yeah, because we're all not in the AEC field, but we're entrepreneurs
Yeah.
and we're dudes that are 40s. You're right, so maybe that's why. But anyway, I thought
And
that was
I was upstairs working on some schoolwork, and I heard them laughing, but it was in unison. It was like ha ha ha, ah.
yeah, yeah.
I just thought that was very noteworthy.
Yeah, so that was fun, and I just thought that was a funny little anecdote or side thing. So yeah, we had a lot of fun during the podcast, and I think you're going to have a lot of fun too. So keep listening. My name is Andy Richardson. This is my producer, Madeline. I've been in the structural engineering field for 26 years, and I'm still on a journey to learn more about the AEC industry. Come along with me in this next episode. All right, let's jump to the intro.
Welcome to Enhance, an AEC podcast where we learn the why behind AEC professionals so that you can learn your why.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. So thanks everybody for jumping onto the podcast today, Enhance podcast. So I've got some friends and also business owners with me today. So what we're going to do is just go around and share a little bit about yourself. So what's going well for you? What are some impediments you're having? Some breakthroughs maybe that you've had this week? And yeah, let's just do that. So that'll be kind of the format. So just a bit of an introduction though. So we're in Savannah, Georgia for the week, which is just an hour away from Beaufort. So we decided to take an excursion over to Beaufort, to my town, and just show some of the business owners. And these business owners are people from really all over the country. So we have people from St. Louis. We have Mark here from St. Louis. And then these two guys are from Pennsylvania. So Buddy and Wayne are both from Pennsylvania. And Wayne is the leader of the group. Business Builder Camp is the name of the kind of group that we're in. And then Kane's from Connecticut. So and we're all in different businesses. So what's the tie-in to the podcast really is just for those of you that are business owners, whether you're architects, engineers, or contractors, and you're business owners, just take some of the lessons we're learning, and hopefully apply them to your lives. And maybe if you're, one day you might be a business owner. So those are a couple of the tie-ins. And then a few of these, like Wayne has an engineering background, so I think that is going to have an interesting aspect to it. Kane is in the HVAC industry. Mark's in the housing industry. So you'll learn a little bit more about that. And then Buddy's more in the medical. So, but regardless, I think it's going to be helpful for you from a business standpoint or for other aspects. So that's a little bit about what we got going today. So we'll just start. I'll start, and then we'll just kind of go around, which I'm already talking. So I feel like I need to go ahead and let Kane jump in, and then maybe I'll add any personal effects once these guys go ahead. So Kane, if you could just tell us who you are, like where you're from, what's your business, what's going well for you in your business, and what are you kind of impediments do you have or holdups, and maybe a breakthrough. So a couple things about yourself today.
All right, thanks Andy for having me on. Kane D'Amico. I am a heating and air conditioning contractor from Connecticut. I own a company that's been in business for 45 years, and I have been one of the owners for the last 4.5 years. What goes well in my business, what is going well, is the consistent opportunity that comes our way. There's always opportunities in regards to service market, service opportunities, and new install and construction opportunities. We're very fortunate to just always have that. One of the biggest challenges of that is being able to take advantage of all those opportunities when they come our way because of the way the company's currently structured or manpower issues. Those are the biggest challenges that our company has. And as far as breakthroughs this week, like the one recurring theme that keeps popping up in my head is the biggest move that we have to make in our company this year is making some key hires for key positions and key positions that will free up my time and my partner's time to spend more time on the business itself and growing the business and being able to capture more and more of those opportunities that come our way. Right now, he and I are still spending a lot of our time, more than 50% of our time, working for the company, working in the business versus working on the business. And so that's where I'm dialing my attention in these last couple of days.
Okay. Just any particular hires, or just in particular, or just the fact that you're getting some hires that you're keying in on?
The most important hire that I have to work on when I get back to work is an installation manager. It's a position that I currently fill, and it takes up most of the hours of my week working in that job. So that's the first one that will help me move the needle.
Okay, awesome. Anything else you want to say about yourself or your business or the Business Builder Camp this week?
No, not at the moment, but I'll jump back in.
All right,
as
awesome.
something occurs to me.
Yeah, and I mean, anybody who wants to jump in, they can do that. So, all right, and you can bring it a little closer to you, by the way.
Okay, I'm Wayne Herring, and I am the founder of Business Builder Camp, which is the mastermind group of business owners that is meeting this week in Savannah, and today has done a field trip to one of our members' offices. Andy's, it's great to be in the house of Andy and in the town of Andy, and for all of us to experience the things that we hear him talking about week after week in our mastermind calls. And we're not only experiencing your business, Andy, but we're also experiencing a slice of your life. And that's one of the things that we work on. We work on balancing who we are as business builders or business owners with the life that we're trying to create, and making sure that the business we're creating serves our life, and not the other way around, that we're giving everything to the business and leaving nothing for us, our family, our community. So I'm from Pennsylvania, and I love South Carolina and Georgia, and we like coming here in the winter. So it's good to be here. What's going well is, I was on the beach today. We went to go visit the beach of South Carolina, and I looked at these guys walking on the beach, and they're talking with one another and the group. So I'm a business coach, but I'm surrounded by this really fine group of people, and there we are on the beach, and I'm looking at all you guys. It's a mixture, right, of laughter, chilling out, but getting away from your business, but also helping each other, coaching each other, helping each other through challenges that you're having, poking at each other in a good way, like challenging, like, hey, you could do a little bit more. So to watch all of you together is a real joy. And I would say that, this week, these live events are always a highlight. So that's going well, Andy. What's an impediment, and I think people hit this, is my business and what we've put together here is at a place where it's what I envisioned years ago, and it's nice. And there's not necessarily a need to grow in some ways, but yet I always want to be growing and I want to be creating. So that's this spot that I'm in, where I take pleasure in all of the business owners' accomplishments, but I still think, like, what's the next way to serve? And we're doing a podcast, The Business Builder Way, if you want to check it out. And we've interviewed Kane and Andy and Buddy, but not Mark yet, but we're going to get to that, right? We're going to work on that. And so we are creating new things. But the thing I thought about this week, like a breakthrough, is to put together a bit of a 8.5 by 11 bound journal that we can bring to these sessions, so that we can record the learnings from year to year. So that's something that I want to do.
Okay, awesome. Thanks. Yeah, thanks for sharing. All right, we'll keep going. All right, Buddy, if you don't mind sharing a little bit about yourself.
Sure, yeah. Buddy Touchinsky. I am a chiropractor and functional medicine practitioner, and I am founder of Peak Integrative Medicine. And we've grown over the past 3 years since we started. We have about 6 practitioners now and admin staff, and we're growing at a pretty good pace this past year. So come to these groups like this, me and Andy, we go back to 2017, 2018, I think. And I would never be where I'm at today without surrounding myself with a group of like-minded people. And like I'm the only one here in healthcare. We're from all different types of industries, but it's nice to have that support and push and drive, accountability, and then hearing what other industries are doing, because we could take bits and pieces that apply to one another. And that goes to where my challenges and breakthroughs are at this point in time. Is I think I've had that breakthrough recently, and I just need to continue moving forward with that. Is it's knowing that I need a good team around me in order to keep advancing the business. And I think this applies whether you're the owner, you're a manager, you're a regional manager, whatever you are in your position. If you work with a team, it's important to know that you can't do it all. And that's one breakthrough I've had recently, is that if I want to keep growing this, I can't do it all. Like I could have and stressed myself out and maybe got to the point of burnout, but it was learning how to delegate, how to identify the right people, delegate those tasks, and then trust them with it. I think trust is the biggest thing, right? And then now I see, once they start doing that and start taking things further than maybe I could have alone, could have taken alone for sure. They can take us further than that. It kind of almost gets addicting at that point where it's like, okay, it's nice not having to deal with that. What else can I do? Or what is that other team member? And that's where I really start, where I think you really start to see that exponential growth.
Awesome. Yeah, it's amazing to see, and interesting to see just how we've come together, like over the years, like we've grown. And even now, we were talking over lunch about there's some similar things that are going on in our businesses with the next steps. And we've hit some financial milestones. I mean, almost identical. Like it's just interesting. So, because what I opened up with was, well, what could a architect learn from a medical practitioner? I mean, you could say the same thing about what could an engineer learn from a medical practitioner, and vice versa. I think we've learned a lot from each other over the years and developed friendship and developed relationship, and having a stronger. So there's something to coming to these things and seeing people time and again where I don't have to say, well, what do you do? And seeing things like that. It's a bond, right? And we kind of pick up on it. Now maybe fill in some of the gaps, like this person, that person, because a lot has happened in 4 months. So yeah, those are just some of the things I wanted to tag onto that. So
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right, Mark, you want to share a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Mark Govero. I'm the owner of Aegis Home Protection, or Hero Protects. I've been a part of the Business Builder Group for about 2 years now. There's a lot of benefits about about building businesses, but also about being in a group like this. You have a lot of strengths and a lot of weaknesses as well. This is one of my weaknesses, is going on camera and doing something like this. So I have been motivated to join this podcast. I want to join. There's a lot of strengths. The company's doing well. We have a great team. I'm very proud of where we're at, where we're going. There are some personal growths of mine, or personal objectives that I'm looking to achieve, and that's what I get from this group as well.
All right, awesome. Well, if you like Mark's, what he had to say today, I think he adds a lot of energy. I feel like, that's what you bring to the podcast. So I appreciate you being on, and I think you're going to do great with your podcast and with your, speaking things that you're doing.
Sure.
If you don't mind, hold that just so I don't. And by the way, if you like what Mark had to say today, we're going to put this on LinkedIn. So do a clap emoji for him just to show that you like what he did. Pull that away just a little bit. Sorry. Just so you can show him some support. So, but let's. So thanks for all the introductions. So I wanted to kind of move into the roundtable aspects and going further a little bit with what we were talking about as far as because this is an AEC podcast. So architects, engineers, and contractors, and what business advice or what things can you tell to an AEC professional? So this is roundtable. Anybody that wants to jump in, that you might say, hey, this is what I'm learning. This is what I think you should think about, and in terms of running a business in the AEC industry. So what type of advice? Maybe it's from the beginning of your career, or maybe it's your beginning of your entrepreneurship journey, or maybe it's something you're going through right now that you learned this week. So anybody that wants to pipe in on that, go ahead and do that.
Well, I'll say that what we're doing here can apply to architects, engineers, contractors who would want to grow their business.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of what we're doing is painting a vision, stretching that vision, taking the time to think, so my business looks like this today. What could it look like 3 years from now? And it's all play. And it's not, well, maybe, architecture, there's a lot of this is done where it's sort of whimsical thinking. What could this building look like? What might the fit and finish look like? What is the outside? What does the business, or what does the building serve? What kind of purpose? And you guys do that. You guys get into this space where you're just playing. Like, don't take it so seriously. You're just messing with what it could look like in 3 years, what it could look like down the road, and then you activate it for each other. So the one thing about Mark Govero, when I was thinking, you said he brings a lot of energy to the group, which he does, and he's funny and keeps us all like lifted up. But the other thing he does in our group is he's the guy who's the big thinker. He's the guy who's the stretch you a bit. Oh yeah, buddy, you have 500 members. When are you going to hit 1,000? And it's sort of playing, but I want people in my life that believe in me so much that they're going to stretch me in that way and say, don't you think that's possible, Wayne? I don't need the people that are going to say, oh, don't you think you're risking a little bit too much? I want the people that are going to expand my thinking. So like the advice would be dream, go out into the future and get somebody like Mark in your life that's going to push you a little bit and challenge you and keep kind of kicking the line forward of what might be possible for you.
Yeah,
Thanks,
awesome.
Wayne. Appreciate that.
Anybody else? That's really good. Yeah, that's really good advice.
So I'm the health guy, so we'll talk about that for a second. So we all want to be high performers. I think we should all aspire to be. And to do so, you got to take care of yourself. So if you're watching this and you're starting your career out, you might be in your 20s, you can really get away with a lot of stuff until you can't. And the age at which you hit that point varies from person to person. But if you're burning the candle at both ends, you're staying up late at night because you're trying to get work done. You got family stuff to deal with. So you're running around with the kids. You're getting up early in the morning to get stuff done. You're reaching for those easy to grab like meals and foods and snacks and coffees and lattes and sugared up drinks and monster drinks and all of that stuff to keep yourself going. It's putting a Band-Aid on things, and eventually you're going to hit that burnout, or at the very least, you're not going to be where you need to be. So you're going to have brain fog. You're not going to be able to focus right. You're not going to feel good. You're not going to have that energy to deal with clients, to deal with coworkers, to deal with your family. And it's probably going to show up somewhere in your life. So at some point, we got to stop just kind of toughing it out and trying to push through things and really start to take care of ourselves. And for some, that comes more naturally. Like, you might know what to do. So that's one thing. But a lot of people don't know what they don't know. So that's where you need some sort of partner. You need a health coach. You need a practitioner, a doctor that knows what they're doing when it comes to that, so they can take inventory of what your habits are, what your foods are, and can give you an idea of like, okay, here's what healthy looks like. And don't take my word for it. Try it for 6 weeks, try it for 8 weeks, try it for a couple months and see how much different you can feel. And in our program, we start with 6 weeks. We say, hey, just follow us for 6 weeks. Not going to kill you. And it's not forever, but just see how much better you can feel, how much better you can sleep, how much better you can operate on a day-to-day basis. And for most people, they don't want to go back. Now, they're never going to be perfect all the time, but even if some people go off track after those 6 weeks, it's still nowhere near what it was in the beginning. So we often talk about, like you shared with us this morning, you need to serve from a cup that's overflowing. So if you're emptying your own cup and you're trying to do things for everyone around you, it's not going to be effective, and eventually you're going to reach burnout. So you need to take care of yourself is what I'm saying. And it's hard for us to do. It's hard, I'd say it's hard, especially for dudes, but it's hard for everyone really. It's hard for the women as well, especially if you're a mom. You feel like you're selfish by giving yourself your own time and taking it away from kids, career, spouses, etc. So I guess that would be my words of wisdom.
A lot of good advice
Johnny.
there. I mean, sounds like a whole nother podcast just on that. Like we may have to have you back.
Absolutely.
Just to talk about the wellness. I mean, and by the way, like I have worked with Buddy myself. I've got the blood test done, and I benefit from it. It makes me feel better. It all goes hand in hand. We talk about, we used to call it the wheel of life. What do we call it now?
The rebalance. It's rebalancing.
Rebalancing. So basically what it is, and this is this is kind of like my time to talk, I guess. So basically what the rebalancing sheet is this 8 sections or segments, and it's the 8 segments of your life, like health, well, obviously career, finance, these different areas of your life. Spiritual is one that I like to put on there, your spouse. And so what you're doing is you're looking and evaluating it. Is it a 5? Is it a 10? Don't put 7. I learned that last night, because if you put 7, that's just like a cop-out. So either go 8 or 9 or 6, but don't put 7. But because 7 is like the new 5.
Safe answer. Safe answer.
But yeah, I mean, the point is you're evaluating your life, and I like the wheel of life personally, so because it sort of gives me a visual picture of like a wheel that's going down the road, and if it's out of balance, it doesn't work very well. And so, but the point is, evaluate yourself, and that's really what the Business Builder Camp does. Is it gets you out of your element. I mean, we're in my office now, but we were in Savannah, and I'm out of my normal element. So I'm thinking about looking back the last 120 days, and I'm also looking forward at the next 120 days. So you don't have to necessarily be a part of Business Builder Camp, although it could be a good thing for you or something like that. But take some time to look back, look forward. So that's really what's working well for me, is to do that and to go back and look at what the progress was. And sometimes you can be amazed by the progress you've made in 120 days. Now, you may not hit all those, and if you stretch yourself properly, then you shouldn't hit all the goals, right? Like you should have a couple that maybe you came up a little short on. So those are a few things that I wanted to touch on. I do want to ask one more question, and I want to give everybody an opportunity to tell like where to find you. So the final question is, because this is called Enhance an AEC podcast. What does that mean? It means we want to enhance the world around us. So typically it's through construction, like the vertical environment. But in addition, I like to say that we're enhancing people through relationships and through other aspects as well. So this, as a part of the roundtable, anybody can chime in, but how can people enhance the world around them? How are you enhancing the world around you through your work or through other aspects? Who would like to chime in on that one?
I would say the greatest way of enhancing your life is through obviously your family and your kids. Spending your time with your kids, allowing yourself to have those memories created with your kids. So when you get older, you don't look back and think, I should have and I could have. I would also talk about business partners in general. I learned a long time ago that life is short to have partners in my life. So what I've decided from here on out is have people that are there to back me up, that I look out for, that we can have a strong partnership and business relationship, and go from there.
Any other feedback?
Yeah, I'll jump on that, and I agree with you, Mark. A strong relationship with your spouse, your partner, your children, that's very important. A successful home life leads to a successful business life, and vice versa. You can't have one out of whack and expect that the other one's going to be going well, because we're one person, and we don't sort of put a different mask on when we leave one position or head to another. So working on personal relationships as much as we're working on business relationships to enhance our business is super, super important.
And my apologies for cursing.
That's okay. We can cut that out.
Okay.
This is family. This is PG.
Okay.
So yeah, buddy, what you got?
Yeah, so for me, it's just, one is practicing what I preach and trying to do things, I'll say the right way. And what I mean by that is, if any of you have worked for companies, multiple companies, you probably worked for one that didn't turn out so well. They might be just coworkers that are create a stressful workplace. They might be negative, might be bosses that were over demanding and asked too much for you. So it's about creating that work that can be fun and exciting and add energy versus being draining and add more stress. Because like Mark said, life is short, so why waste time being in a position that's just not going to bring you joy and happiness and be fulfilling. So I know in our company, we try to treat people with respect and try to treat people as people and not just as employees, and trying to help each other out, trying to stay positive. I mean, we all have that. We came across people that are Debbie Downers, and it's draining to be around them. So just whatever we can do to create a positive workplace, and to our customers and our clients as well. So treat them the way I love the golden rule. Treat people the way you would want to be treated, and understand that if someone's grumpy or someone's having a bad day, you can either meet them with the same energy, or you can try to be a shining light for them and turn them around, and just understand that everyone goes through their stuff, and just respect that, and treat them fairly, and give them a few chances, and don't just jump down their throat. I learned that a lot in the past, but
Right.
but yeah, it's just all about having fun with it and enjoying life and work and everything in between.
Okay, awesome. Good feedback. Anything, Wayne, you want to add?
I've talked a lot. I've spoken a lot.
All right, well, let's just close it out then. If you could, just start with Mark. Just tell us how to find you. And
Mark Govero at LinkedIn.
I love this park, so I like to say I'm the only Buddy Touchinsky in the world. my last name is spelled Touch in Sky with a Y at the end. So if you ever want to reach out on Facebook, and I don't do LinkedIn much, but you can find me there. And peakintegratedmed.com is our practice, and we're in Florida and Pennsylvania if anyone needs some help there.
awesome.
Businessbuildercamp.com is a great place to go. I also love LinkedIn, and so if you look up Wayne Herring on LinkedIn, I think you'll find me there.
Junior.
Wayne Herring Jr. is actually a dash LinkedIn.
And he looks like this.
Like this.
Yeah, because there is a senior, right?
There is.
Kane D'Amico on LinkedIn, Kane, and alliancehvac.net.
All right, hopefully you know how to find me. And all right, let's just smile for the camera and get a good picture. All right, awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Hey everybody, thanks for listening to